Wabash, the gentleman's rule. You gotta believe in that stuff. The Wabash always fight.
Good afternoon and welcome to the Don Morel Show, your chance to hear the thoughts and comments of the head football coach of the Little Giant program. We come to you for the final time for the 2017 season as we get set for the final football game of the 2017 campaign, the 124th Monon Bell Classic against DePaul. We'll talk about that in just a few minutes. But Coach, good old-fashioned shootout last Saturday in Meadville, Pennsylvania, a 48-41 victory for your Wabash College team. And it was everything we expected out of Allegheny's offense. They were everything that was advertised. I know you look at 48 points and you look at 1,000 yards of offense between the two teams, but there were some good defensive plays turned in by your football team.
I think there were, and we held them to 41, and that was enough to win the game. And actually, if you look, we're the second best defense in the conference. That's a bad matchup for us. They have an accurate quarterback, and then they have one player that's the fastest guy on the field, and I think probably the best wide receiver in the conference.
But speaking of wide receivers, your quarterback and your wide receivers turned in a pretty good performance on Saturday. You had Rashawn Jones had a couple of big catches, including one, a really impressive touchdown grab. Cody Hall had a good afternoon. Dylan Burrish from the tight end spot set up one touchdown, had a couple of other big grabs, and had a nice touchdown reception. So really a good opportunity for your guys to go in and gain some confidence on Saturday.
Well, we feel like we got better offensively. Murphy played well. Murphy's a sophomore. Rashawn Jones is a sophomore. Had his best game of his career. So we're making progress.
Let's go ahead and take a look at some of the highlights from Saturday's game. Again, a 48-41 victory for Wabash over Allegheny. Talking about the running game, you carry the ball 49 times for 273 yards and 5 touchdowns. Ike James had 4 of those with a 160-yard effort. Allegheny really kind of stuffed the run early, but you were able to just kind of keep pounding it and wearing them down. And once you kind of saw that happen, the bigger runs started to come. Isaac Avant with an 80-yard run that really got things going as well for you.
Two more phenomenal sophomore players. They've done a great job week in and week out. And sometimes the runs don't come easy early, but as the game drags on, we do wear the opponent down.
Again, it was a high-scoring game, but it really looked like it was going to be a tight affair early. Allegheny got off to a really good first quarter. It was one of those games that if you break it down by quarter, Allegheny won the first quarter. But then Wabash came back and had a very strong second quarter, and actually, after trailing 13-0, took that lead. Was it a long road trip? I mean, it's the longest road trip of the season, about an 8-hour drive over. It's a different type of trip than even making the trips over to Central Ohio. Was a little bit of that a reason for the slow start, perhaps?
With this football team, with the 2017 Little Giants, if they come out flat, they are a below-average football team, and we were flat for a good quarter at that place, and we had the same issue at Worcester. And again, I credit the team. They're playing in these tight games. They've won the majority of them. But certainly it's something we're not used to here.
Well, I was just going to mention, with the slow start in the first quarter, you have to be happy with the fact that the team rebounded, found its footing, and really moved the ball well throughout the remainder of the final 3 quarters.
It did, and then obviously they were hitting some huge pass plays on a guy we were trying to double cover. But our team rebounded and fought to the end and ended up getting the victory.
Defensively, you were able to put a little more pressure on the quarterback, and a solid quarterback in Logan Lee, who has some escapability as well as having a lot of good targets to throw to. And in fact, you get a sack on the final play of the game. Dallas Pitts got in, forced a fumble that was recovered by Deontay Simpson. Dallas forced 2 fumbles in that ball game. So you were able to get some pressure up front. Clay Follenkamp led you in tackles with 7. So the front line really seemed to be able to get some movement and try and control that line.
That's been a solid group all year for us up front.
Brock Heffron also had 6 tackles. He combined for a half a sack. We mentioned again fumble recoveries, a forced fumble by Dallas Pitts. He came up with the fumble recovery, and that was really a key play because Allegheny had that 13-0 lead and looked like they were trying to drive again when Dallas made that big play.
Yep.
So Wabash again comes away with the 48-41 victory there. I think you just saw a big touchdown grab by Rashawn Jones. We mentioned he finished with 2 catches for 73 yards and that 42-yard touchdown. Dylan Burrish led the way with 4 catches for 70 yards and 1 touchdown. Isaac Avant had 11 carries, was just around that 100-yard mark with 88 yards. And you got another big catch from Matt Panola. He just continues to be kind of the jackknife player, or the Swiss Army knife player, I should say, for this football team. An outstanding blocker, and became the decoy on your fake punt play this week. You snapped instead to Tyler Downing, who got a good gain on it, but then caught another pass and just tiptoed his way down the sideline for a huge gain, 53-yard pickup for Matt and that.
He's a great player, absolutely, and you know, clearly an unselfish guy too.
Again, 48-41, Wabash with the win over Allegheny. And Coach, that brings us up to this week. Big game, obviously. First of all, this is your 6th year as either an assistant coach or a head coach being part of the Monon Bell game. What does this game mean to you as a coach?
Oh, it's what Wabash College is about, and Wabash football, and whether you played football at Wabash or not, it doesn't matter. It brings the community together, but clearly this is the big game. It's our team, it's our #1 goal after losing the Bell last year, is to win it back. So it's the culmination of 12 months worth of work and misery too. When you lose the Bell, you know, it's a great piece at Wabash. You feel a certain amount of shame, you really do. So whether you're the head coach, whether you're the backup punter, whether you're a starting defensive lineman, we are all in it together, and we are going to do our best to win the football game Saturday.
Does it kind of refocus a football team to know that you're playing to get the Bell rather than playing to keep it? I mean, that was a long stretch, 7 years to hold the Bell, and that starts to put pressure on a football team. You don't want to be the team that loses it, but when that happened, now all of a sudden the target moves to DePaul. They're the ones that have to try and defend, and your football team just has to go in and play football and try and win a game to reclaim it.
Well, certainly our team has been focused, and I think it may have hurt us in other games. The goal was to win the Bell back day 1, and you're playing all season waiting to get to the Bell game, and clearly we wanted to win a conference championship also. But we're finally here. I don't think we had that feeling last year. It was more we're going to try and hang on to it rather than win it.
It's been interesting. I've been around this game for 18 years as a sports information director. I've been around it just as a statistician or a fan for many more years. And when you and I met with Chris Denary, who will do the play-by-play broadcast for Fox Sports on Saturday, we mentioned that I have never seen what is set up at the chapel right now. On the steps, there are a set of ropes showing where the Monon Bell would be if we had it, and there are students guarding it just like the Bell was there. And I think it's an attitude that's kind of permeated the entire campus that we really didn't see over the last 7 years. You know, you don't ever take the Monon Bell for granted, but I can remember one year, several years ago, when we kept the Bell, and the guys left it in the end zone. I had to go get 3 guys to go get the Bell because we're on to the playoffs now, and we're on to our next game. And that attitude's gone. I mean, everybody is focused on going down and trying to get a win on Saturday.
I'm impressed. It's not just the football team. It's every young man at the school is really, they're always into Bell Week, but this has been different because we don't have the Bell.
And you know, we've talked about ticket sales each week on this show. there are no tickets to be found for this game. It's a sellout. There is a wait list on ticketor.com/Wabash, where if you did not pick up your Bell game tickets and you'd like to try and see if any are available, there'll be an option to sign up for the wait list, and if tickets do become available, you'll be notified. But at this point, if you're not already in possession of tickets, you won't be watching the game in person down at Blackstock Stadium. I mean, what's that say about the type of support your football team will have on Saturday?
Well, it's phenomenal, and I think first it starts with our kids are outstanding guys that pick Wabash, but their parents are equally outstanding people, and family, they want to come, and we've got 15 seniors. It's their last football game, so there are a lot of entities invested in this thing.
Let's talk about your opponent for a little bit. Talking with B.J. Hammer on Saturday before the game, he mentioned that he's never seen a season like this in the North Coast Athletic Conference, where so many big-name players have gone down with injuries. We're certainly no stranger to that, with Oliver Page, with Ryan Thomas, with some of the injuries that we've battled throughout the season. DePauw's had some injuries as well that have affected them. They've lost their starting quarterback, but they got a young man, a senior in Jake Lasky, who was in the quarterback battle at the beginning of the season, and he's come in and led them to several victories here over the last couple of weeks, a 9-1 record now for the Tigers coming in. And he's a little bit of a dual threat quarterback in addition to the passing game. He leads them in rushing and really more of a run threat quarterback first, with the passing game as another option.
He is. He's a talented runner, and we are going to have to find a way to contain him. They really base their run game around the quarterback carrying the ball.
The good news is there's only one Hunt that will be on the field this year. Matt Hunt graduated, but very talented junior receiver, and his younger brother, Andy Hunt. He certainly has played well in his first 2 Monon Bell games. What do you have to do to try and defend a player who has experience in a Monon Bell game and has the talent that Andy Hunt presents?
Well, we got a good look last week from Alex Victor from Allegheny at what a super talented wideout can do. So hopefully we've learned from that lesson, and I think you've got to play 2 guys on him and contain him. He's going to get catches, there's no doubt about it. He's a good player, but try to prevent the big one.
Do you feel that with the success that Weston Murphy and the rest of the passing game had last week, will that allow you to play against defenses that are stretched out a little more, particularly with Rashawn's good effort last week, that defenses will have to play a little more straight up and honest?
I think they will. Also, the good news is Ryan Thomas can play. He practiced yesterday and looked like he broke his hand and had a surgery. Was cleared yesterday afternoon, and he looked great. So he's coming back at the right time. I'm not going to get Oliver Page back, but still, I think our older guys. Last Saturday we played without Kirby Cox also. So we're going to be a more formidable offense with him on the field.
What are the most important things this Wabash football team has to do to bring that 300-pound prize back home?
We have to be efficient on first down. We cannot turn the ball over. And then defensively, we cannot give up the big play.
The Monon Bell game starts just shortly after 1 o'clock, the 124th meeting between Wabash and DePauw. We'll have it on the radio for you at 91.3 FM, WNDY Crawfordsville. Terry Byram, Mark Maxwell, Steve Hoffman on the sidelines with the call. The broadcast for the video will be on Fox Sports. That will be on Fox College Sports Network, as well as Fox Sports Midwest and Fox Sports Indiana. Chris Teneri will have the call. Class of '83 will be the play-by-play announcer. Brad Wakamerka, who's been the sideline reporter for DePauw the last few years on the Access TV broadcast, will be up in the booth this year joining Chris. So excited to have both of those men on the call. And we just learned Jeremiah Johnson will be the sideline reporter for Fox Sports on Saturday. Looking forward to a great game. Again, pregame show begins at 1 o'clock for the TV broadcast. For the radio broadcast, it'll be about 12:30. There is, again, the wait list for tickets on ticketor.com/Wabash. And, of course, all the links to everything will be on the Wabash College website. There's also a parade that morning because it is Veterans Day this Saturday. So there's travel information. There's also a baggage entry search program that's in place. So all the information on what you can bring into the stadium, what you cannot bring into the stadium will be listed on the Wabash website. We'll have all that information as part of our preview story, which will be on the website on Wednesday evening. Coach, I want to thank you for all your time this season. I've enjoyed these weekly conversations and a chance to learn more about the football program, to bring this to the fans. Thanks for your time and good luck Saturday.
Well, this team certainly has made the 2017 season exciting.
Interesting and memorable definitely will be words we can use with it, and let's hope it ends with a really good memory with a win in the Monon Bell game. Want to also thank you, our weekly viewers, whether it's the Don Morel Show, also watching our home video broadcast and listening to the radio broadcasts when we're on the road. We couldn't do this without you participating as a viewer and providing the great numbers that we see and the great comments as well. Also want to thank all the nice folks that have sent me comments this week about Thank Your SID Week. It's a nice week that our national organization has put together, and I've received a lot of good comments from former students who've worked for me, current students who have worked for me, like Christian Wirtz, who's on the camera today, and alumni, fans, parents, and just supporters of the program. So thank you for all of that. With that, we bid adieu to the Don Morel Show for the 2017 season. Let's bring back the bell, and as we would say, let's ring it out with a ding ding. You've been watching the Don Morel Show, your chance to hear the thoughts and comments of the head football coach of the Little Giant program. We'll talk to you next year.
Wabash, the gentleman's rule. You gotta believe in that stuff. Wabash always fight.